What a game. One was the forest. Jungle. Yep. With the plan. Can't forget that plan. I still have to play that game. Never played it. December 13th, my birthday. Yeah. Very excited about that. What? You thought I was born July 24th? No. I was born in a snowstorm. Nope. I was born in a snowstorm. Oh my god. I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy fuck, I can't believe it just did this. Yeah. To this day, it's still one of my, like, what the fuck moments of gaming. Yeah. Yeah. It's like little snippets here and there. Yeah. Excited. Oh. I'm beating that first, and then I'm gonna move on to God of War. I have yet to fill out my game of the year. I have nothing on the list so far. Like, I can't even tell you. I think the last thing that I played this year, well, that came out this year, was like Pokemon Legends Arceus. That was it. And Triangle Strategy. Can't forget Triangle Strategy. That's number one, baby. Oh, it's so good. Octopath Traveler? Ah. I tried Live Alive. I couldn't get into it. Yes, we can hear you now. Gotcha. All right. Are we all good to go? Okay. Oh dear God. My mic's been hot this entire time. Oh well. Well, get what you get and you don't get upset. Hello everyone and welcome to the penultimate place to get your movie and TV news and reviews. This is episode 60 of the Cross Media Show, and today's topic is our House of the Dragons season finale review. Get hyped. Or get scorched.
Oh yeah.
Get scorched. There you go. That's even better.
It's our season finale, not season.
Well, yeah, you're right. Season review, I should say. You're right. Not season finale, because we're not just talking about the whole last episode. Season review. But before we get into our discussion, if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast service, feel free to give us a good rating on that platform. It helps with the algorithms and helps us grow our audience. If you're watching this on YouTube, consider dropping a like and a sub. And please, for the love of God, do not forget to hit the bell to get notifications for all of our shows, like the Penultimate Game Show, the Marvel Mondays Initiative, and Anime Nation. If you're watching this on Twitch and have Amazon Prime, guess what? Good for you, buddy. I keep forgetting to take this out because we are no longer Twitch affiliates. So yeah, For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ruben, the director of this channel, and today I am joined by our anime expert, Ryan the Lion. Ryan, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Excited to talk one of my favorite things, which is Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. All right. Of course, we are joined by two guests today. One of them is a teacher from, God help me, I want to say Oklahoma, but I know that's not right.
No, that is right. You got it. You
Fuck,
nailed it.
yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Matt Grover. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited. I'm ready to talk about this because I've been meaning to talk about this with someone, and I can't wait.
Oh, now you have three summons. How about that one? Perfect. And we have the man, the myth, legend, the man that's obsessed with Gunpla. I hope I said that right, for the love of God. Travail
Good job.
Campbell, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm happy to be here. I love Gunpla. I love all things Gundam, and just chilling, just chilling. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Our pleasure. Our
That new
pleasure.
Gundam anime, though. Finally, some.
What was that?
Mecha. I said that new Gundam anime, though. Finally, some.
Oh,
good
it is
mecha.
excellent. It is excellent. I'm waiting to start up a. I mean, not like I'm plugging a podcast, but I'm waiting to start up a Gundam podcast with a friend of mine because I need to talk about that Gundam so bad.
Alrighty, all right. Before we get into it, let's do some housekeeping. Yesterday, Ryan, I'm sorry, I don't know if you heard the news, but you were dead yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you guys took me out back and all yelled at me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm real sorry. I had to scheduling. We just needed to do it yesterday, so I apologize for that. Yesterday we talked about PSVR 2, the price, because Jesus Christ, what a shit show of a price that
Can't
is.
wait to buy my PS5 too.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, and we also talked about our excitement for God of War Ragnarok, which is just a mere 6 days away, guys. Are we excited?
Could be closer.
Oh yeah, I already have it pre-downloaded. Can't wait.
Sweet, sweet.
I can't wait for Amazon not to deliver my collector's edition on time.
You didn't get it from PlayStation Store Direct?
Nah, I just bought it from Amazon.
Oh man, you're missing out, man. You're missing out. You get free shipping for PlayStation Plus members. But that's neither here nor there.
I got free Prime shipping.
Yeah, but you get free shipping for PlayStation Plus members, and it's guaranteed ship on the day it comes out.
Nothing's guaranteed with the U.S. Postal Service.
That's what it says. That's
Yeah,
what.
that's a great point.
That's literally what it says. So talk to
They lie.
PlayStation.
They lie.
Talk to PlayStation. That's all I'm gonna say.
They have great customer service. I won't lie.
Only if you're level 5 on PlayStation Stars.
Stars.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yes. It's a pay to play. Well, pay to get support.
Get good support. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
We are going to be doing a couple of streams this weekend. I want to say I want to get some of the guys playing Modern Warfare too, just because I'm having a hell of a time. Hell of a time. I tried out Signalis, whatever the fuck it's called, yesterday and a little bit today. Guys, it's not a good game, so I won't be streaming
Is
it.
this
Oh,
the
no.
shit that Cam Hawkins has been plugging all over the place?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where I've seen it. I was like, I feel like I've seen
was
this
like-
everywhere, and I don't know why.
Let me rephrase that. It's not a Ruben game, so Ruben's not playing that shit. Okay, so, but there's another game that's supposed to be coming out soon, the Entropy Center. I think that comes out next week, if I remember
That's the
correctly.
Portal ass game, right?
Yeah, that's a Ruben-ass game. So,
Next week, you mean God of War week?
no, I think you
Sonic
mean
the
Sonic
Hedgehog week?
Frontiers week. Thank you very much, sir.
I am sorry.
You
And
should
then
be.
Black Panther week.
This is
Oh,
also true.
shit.
This is also true. You gotta.
What a week! What a crazy
Hell of a
week!
week.
Because
Do I
Big
go
week.
from seeing Black Panther to playing God of War? Because
Yes.
that's a great
Yes.
transition.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And as always, please feel free to leave your thoughts and questions on our speakpipe, speakpipe.com/penultimateconquest. Guys, we could shoot the shit and talk about what we've been watching, but I think it's time we just dive right into House of the Dragon. What do you say?
I'm in.
True.
Like shots.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So, what were your overall thoughts on? Well, not overall thoughts, but 5-minute thoughts on what you thought about season 1, if that made sense. Travell, let's start off with you.
I will say first of all, probably three things. One, I'm so glad I'm seeing more dragons. It's great to see dragons just flying, being dicks, eating things, just threatening people. It's just fun. It's great. It's great. Two, I don't know. I love both actors for Rhaenyra, but like baby Rhaenyra was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like I granted they probably wrote her story different because she's so young, and like literally full of fire and whatnot. But she was so much fun to watch. Um, and then I can't remember what my third one was. Oh, whoever colors the dark episodes, like the super dark ones that are terribly lit, like just fire that person because it's weird.
Well, the problem is that they themselves are in a dark room, so like the screen is their only source of light. But it can't
No,
be
there's
too
just
be
no,
too bright because
no,
if it's too
no.
bright, they get shocked right to the nipples. So
Well, as a motion graphics person slash sometimes editor who sits in this very dark room, yeah, that's ridiculous. You gotta like those things better and color and master those things better because holy smokes, man. But yeah, other than that, the season I thought was pretty good. If I think for most people, if you look at it as like season 7, I want to say, of Game of Thrones, where travel was faster. Um, there was still a lot of dialogue and whatnot between characters and everything, but when it came to travel, when it came to just big events happening, they happened at a faster clip. And I think that was mostly because they just wanted to get to whatever it was, the Dance of Dragons, Civil War, the Blacks versus the Greens, whatnot. But other than that, I didn't have too many complaints about the show. I really enjoyed just about every episode, especially watching that in tandem with the Lord of the Rings show. Was it was cool to have two contrasting high fantasy shows going on at the same time.
okay.
Yeah, agreed.
I will say it was even better to see dragons that actually looked good, Like, don't get me wrong, Game of Thrones had really good looking dragons, but like, you only saw them for like 5 seconds. These dragons we're seeing them on screen prominently for maybe 3-4 minutes out of the episode, which I'm fine with. But yeah, I'm glad that they look good as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Matt, what are your thoughts?
So overall on the show, I think it is. I mean, I think it's top tier television. It is some of the best, highest quality television you are going to watch. Whether it's the editing or overall story and acting, it's just great. Now, I had problems with some things. Like, I feel like there were a handful of just weird choices. So the recasting of Rhaenyra and Alicent, I didn't really have a problem with that until I saw that they didn't recast Kristen Cole. And I was like, why does he look exactly the same? Like, they didn't even make his like hair a little bit of gray or anything like that. He's just the exact same character. And that took me out of it when I saw him with older Alicent and then older Rhaenyra. And I was like, well, now it just feels like these are different characters rather than just older versions of those characters to me. That might be just maybe me nitpicking it, and I know it is, but that took me out of it for a second.
I do want to say I understand what you're saying. However, for me, it was more of Christian Cole was much older. I want to say maybe 25 when they were 15. You know, so he's already grown into his face. But yes, I get what you're saying. So
That's fair. And well, and like if the young Rhaenyra and young Alicent looked as young as they were playing, then I think I would feel it more.
Yeah.
But they already looked also like they were in their mid 20s to 30s.
Yep.
So like to me, I was just like, it just feels like they didn't need to be recast if that's what the goal was, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Okay.
And there were a
Also
couple plot questions I had, but we can get to those later. Go ahead, Trevor.
I just want to step in and say that sometimes being a petty bitch and you know, feeding off of the pettiness probably keeps him young, because they made him real petty by like not even halfway through the series. It was a pretty quick heel turn where you're just like,
Third
oh,
episode,
man.
I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like him so much, and you're like, oh, this guy's pure, and then all of a sudden, just like
Like,
that.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really sad to see his turn of being a interesting character and then immediately turning into the queen's bitch, so to speak.
Yeah.
Ryan, what were your thoughts on this season?
So on this, well, first off, I'm gonna touch on the elephant in the room, which is, holy shit, Game of Thrones actually made some good content. After
Okay.
the final season, I didn't think that was gonna happen. When they announced 6 spin-offs, I was like, oh, they're going to fucking ruin this series into the ground. Now, this is a great way to get my confidence back, because I will admit, this is some of the best television I've watched all year. The twists, the turns, all classic Game of Thrones, political, medieval drama, what I'm looking for. Now, I do agree, there are some weird things. I agree with the Kristen Cole bit. I think other parts were a little rushed, but overall, as a whole product, if we look at it like that, a whole season and everything, it's fantastic. This is absolutely what I wanted from a Game of Thrones side story. Play with it a little bit, have some fun with it. Did it take a few liberties from the books? Yes, but I think all the things they picked work pretty well. And I'm very interested to see where those story changes go now with more information. All that. Like, how does this change everything? So overall, I think pretty good. I think highly of this.
And just to be
Yeah.
clear, he has finished this book, right? Or these sets of books?
Yeah, this book
The
was like a
story.
big, like, textbook.
Okay, all right. Trill, what's up?
I do have a question. How many of us have read any of the books? I guess I have not read any of them.
I've read all of them.
I'm gonna let you.
I've
know in a
read-
second.
I've read the first 2 3/4 of the Game of Thrones books.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm gonna let you know.
So I didn't finish the third.
Ruben, I know you don't read.
I don't fucking read. Okay, I only read what's on a screen, baby. All right, and it's
Would a
gotta have
Kindle
a
help you?
no. It's gotta have a fucking video behind it. All right.
What about pictures? How do you feel about comic books?
Comic books are okay, but like
Cool.
for me, the thing is like I never know where to jump into comics. Like I
Whenever
tried.
Wherever
there's
you
a
want.
Whenever there's a reboot.
Yeah, but that's the problem. I tried jumping into the new 52 of Batman. This is getting way off topic, but
What problems did you have with the new 52 of Batman?
no, it was just like I would read the new 52 of just Batman, and they were like, well, to continue this story, you have to go to fucking issue 52 of Batman
Flash.
Incorporated. I'm like, I gotta start fucking reading Batman Incorporated now? Like, no, I just
It was a great story.
I will
It
say
was.
comics do that a lot, and that is really frustrating. To me, I love that because I'm like, oh, crossovers, hell yeah. But
I love it too.
but yeah,
but like a little
It makes
preface,
everything a lot harder
a
on
little
You wanna-
preface
reader.
in the beginning of the
If you
story.
want to see Batman v Superman, you're gonna have to go jump over to Superman to see it.
Oh, could you imagine? It's just a lead up into it, you know. For me personally, to get back on topic. Personally, I thought it was a good season. I was not a fan of the time jumps. Like we were jumping left and right, and I was getting real pissed off. Um, I
We did
do.
it twice.
Well, it was
Yeah.
more than twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like there were like 3 or 4 at least. Like
Oh,
not
there
all
were,
of them were super major. But...
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
was like,
weren't
there's only,
like
like-
10 years, but it was just like
All right.
yeah.
In anime terms, I'd say there's only one time skip,
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
and then the rest of it was just us moving along.
Okay, that's fair. But at the same time, like, yeah, for me, it was. I didn't have a problem with Kristen Cole, but I did have a problem with Damon looking exactly the same from episode 1. Like, his brother is literally losing half of his face and old and decrepit, but Damon's just
Isn't he like 20 years younger than his brother?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Unclear.
I think he is like
Unclear.
20 years younger than his brother.
I'm going to be real honest with you. I still think Damon and the new Rhaenyra are probably the same age.
Now I could also be wrong, but I think when Viserys died, he was only in his like 50s or early 60s. I think he just looked older because of the
No, he was
grayscale or whatever it ended up being.
He was
tetanus, I don't know.
rotting to death.
It was
Yeah.
the throne that killed him.
Right, but like, what is that? Tetanus? Is that
Poison.
what?
Poison. Yeah,
Fair enough.
that's,
Okay.
that's exactly what it was.
If we want to get into theories, I think someone killed him.
Oh,
That's my hot take for right now.
interesting. You think this was Damon's ploy all along? Just
No, I
slow
don't
wait.
think David killed him.
Other than that, like, yeah, there's some plot lines here and there that piss me off, like Kristen Cole's being the queen's bitch. Like,
The foot fetish.
the foot fetish was super weird. Super.
I just-
weird.
I was like, oh, Tarantino
As-
got to do a scene. Fantastic.
As soon as it started, I was like, no way they're doing this, right? That's weird. And then they went full in on it, and I was like, oh no.
I'm like,
Like-
oh, you committed.
Yeah, but like they don't even. I feel like that's something you have to like introduce, you know, not just throw us
You
into.
can't just dive in.
Yeah.
No dogs out.
Not even that, but just like have him say
I-
like, "Hey, I'm into
I
feet."
feel like that was the
Now-
introduction.
No, because at
Counter-argument.
first I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Counter argument.
Gotcha.
I feel like that's something you don't need to introduce ever.
You're right. You're right. But what I'm saying is like,
Not to king shame, but I don't know. It was weird. to
you're
me.
right. You're right. I feel like that could have been taken out. You know, as soon as she finished the conversation with him, like, all right, we could have just cut that. We didn't need to see what the fuck he was doing with his hand in his pants.
But now we know how depraved he is.
I feel like there were a couple moments this season where they just went one step further than they needed to.
Yeah.
And it was when they showed him doing it, the birth. Like, did we have? Come on.
The two
Like-
births.
Oh yeah, you're right. There were
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
was just,
I would come in defense of those 2 births, but I don't know if there's where we want to start. I mean, we can dive into it because I have my take on it, but you know.
What was your take? What was your take?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So basically, they were trying to at the end with Rhaenyra's the stillbirth. They were basically going full circle with her story and showing pain and that connection and trauma and the connection that goes generational. It's like it's not something that gets broken really easy. And then I also think that they were essentially making a statement about women having to do both birth and everything else at the same time. Like even now, my wife has had a couple kids and she's having to like protect her job by being on FMLA and then also like going back weeks later to work or whatever. Like, I feel like they were making that kind of statement where it's just like, women are always going to have that trauma and pain linked in with like having to essentially fight for their lives and fight for their family and stuff like that at the same time.
See, and I do agree with you on that. That is a very salient point. I will say, like, I think the scenes were good. I think there was just the one moment where like we see the baby hit the ground, and I was just like, okay, like that. I feel like we could have cut that like 5 seconds out, and it would have been just as powerful.
I can
You
do
know?
that.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
I also feel like they were trying to make a statement about like incest and how it's wrong. you know.
Oh.
I mean, am I wrong?
I
She's
don't
had 3 kids, 4 kids.
So she said that was her fifth. So that was her fifth pregnancy, and she has 3 kids. So, there was a miscarriage
Okay.
in there before the stillbirth or in between.
I have to stand with Travail on this one. I don't really see a problem with either of the scenes. Are they
I don't.
graphic? Yeah, but a lot of shit in Game of Thrones is graphic.
To be
I'd
fair, I
rather
don't see a
everything across
problem.
the board be graphic than cherry pick what I'm seeing. I want to see the full scope of the world.
I think it
Okay,
was maybe
that's a fair argument.
give us a heads up at the beginning of the episode, like,
You
hey,
want Earth imagery coming?
yeah, just like warning. There are some scenes that might trigger some people. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I guess
Now,
two,
if they
two
didn't put
things and
that
then I'll
warning
shut
in
up.
front of the red wedding, then they don't need to put it in front of anything.
Yeah, but
we've
it's
seen.
different. The word writing is different.
That's what I'm saying is like, what Ryan is talking about is like, yeah, like you're watching Game of Thrones, and so you're gonna see this stuff, and it's just like there's so much violence, and whatnot. And when it comes to violence against women in the series, that has always been the big big red flag for a lot of people and why they stop watching. And in this case, you also have, if I'm not mistaken, female writer and director on this episode specifically.
Yeah.
And so that was, to me, that was like once you watch like the after action, whatever part of the episode,
Uh-oh.
realize.
Oh no.
Oh god.
I think we lost you.
Then it feels less like normal. Uh-oh, my internet go bad.
Yes.
I don't know. where
You
I
might be
was.
back. You might be back.
You're back.
You're back.
But we lost
Oh, okay.
the whole thing.
I was on a roll.
I'm sorry.
I know you were making a good point. I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, okay, yeah, like
I brought my
I get
breathing
it,
into
yeah.
cadence and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was in my Zen moment. But yeah, like, long story short, like, I feel like because this was written directed by women in this case, that it took it out of that sphere of like men doing bad things to women just because they're women, and more or less like women telling a story about trauma. So
I
Yeah,
do.
I see that.
I do think that there's one thing that we kind of have to stop in the next season, and it's Song of Fire and Ice. Like, we just got to stop referencing it because it's taking away from something that could be great. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand it. Like, we have to preface it, but at the same time, like, I would like House of the Dragon to become its own thing.
I agree. And then also my problem with it is that we know that leads to Arya doing it anyways. So to
Yeah.
me, it feels like this whole prophecy,
Is a lie.
like, what's the point? Like,
That's what I like about it. Is this corrupt and vile family who has held reign, conquerors from another realm, to this with their grand prophecy they think is going to lead them to glory and being true rulers and protectors of the land, not belonging to them at all. Their greatest power, they think, not theirs. I like that.
yeah, that's another great point.
Who is everybody's favorite character?
I can kick this one off because I know mine instantly.
Go for it.
It's Daemon Targaryen,
Wow.
the man you love to hate.
Wow. Why is that?
He is just a cocky bastard, and I love that. First off,
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, phenomenal. He's been really picking up playing these villains though, and doing fantastic with it.
I don't know about that.
Did you not like Last Night in Soho?
Oh no, I liked Last Night in Soho.
That was a great
but, like,
movie.
Venom too.
What about Morbius?
Yeah, there you go.
I,
That's what I
oh
was
my
talking about.
god, I forgot he was the villain in Morbius.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were talking about. I was like, okay.
No, that's
good for you.
exactly.
No, I think
How could you forget the dance scene?
Morbius is gone in my head.
No, we don't need to speak of.
It's
Morbius.
Morbin time.
No, it's not.
But no, Damon, I think he's one of the best written characters on the show. His motives and everything makes sense. They're interesting. He's just a man who wants to prove he has what it takes to lead the Targaryen bloodline.
Now it's funny
He'll
that
do
you.
anything to do that.
It's funny that you bring that up because I'm still not clear on what his motives actually are. Like
To bring the Targaryen name back to like the Aegon the Conqueror and whatnot to
okay,
the level of the people who came across and took Westeros.
okay, because at first, the first couple episodes, I thought his motive was like, oh, I'm gonna prove myself to my brother so that he can name me heir, and then he doesn't. And then he's like, well, I'm still going to try to prove myself. I'm going to go kill this guy that's been fucking up these islands. And when it doesn't happen.
While my brother sits on his glorious throne, I will go to battle and prove myself as a hero to the people. Because that's what it's. You don't think of the king who did. You think of the man, the brother of him who's slain. The leaders killed thousands of your men by at this point in these sand castles.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I felt like throughout those 3 episodes where he
but
was.
It always he led back to the Targaryen fire, the violence, we have dragons, none of this should be a fucking problem.
Yeah.
That was his mindset, which is old Targaryen.
Right.
Now, I feel like part of the problem is at fault with the time jump, where like it felt like the first set
time jump doesn't help him.
The first set of episodes, he was like he seemed to be very not crazy, but like power hungry and a climber. And then he went through like a family phase, and then even that ended poorly. And then he kind of went through another family phase, and then he ended up like being power hungry again, which I think that is kind of the point where that's the root of his character, where like he might not feel like that's him anymore, but like that clearly came out at the finale.
Everything points to him wanting to be on the throne. And he's willing to take any way he can to get there.
Right, but that's why I'm a little confused as to why, like, at first he was okay with Rhaenyra being crowned queen. Like, I figured he would have been like, no, she is queen, but like I'm gonna be the one that's in charge. Like, we kind of see that in the last episode where he's fumbling to send out messages with ravens and all that stuff when she's giving birth, but then she comes back with like, nothing is to be done until I am back in that room, So I'm still a little iffy on what his motive actually is, but yes, I will say Daemon Targaryen was probably one of the best parts of this show. Matt.
Yeah, and I also want to give a small shout out to a character that I think was underrated, and that would be the leaders of the shipfaring, the other white-headed.
Oh, the Valyrians.
Corlys
Yeah.
Velaryon.
Yeah.
Velaryon.
Who also got shafted by the time jump, but in that first couple episodes, one of the most interesting characters there.
Agreed.
I would say I would agree, but again, that second to last episode, she has literally everybody who is a problem in the dragon's line of sight, and she chooses to just not take the shot. So, like, I understand what she was saying, like, oh, it's not her place to start a war, but like, you could have just ended all this, you know, like now a kid is
I'm
dead.
talking about her husband.
Right, but I'm talking about her specifically,
Okay.
like just
Oh, you're talking about Rhaenys?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking about Rhaenys.
Queen who never was.
So
Gotcha.
I feel like, you know, I don't really. If something happens to you, I'm like, oh, this is your own fault. But her, I was gonna say her brother, her husband. I did like the turn at the end where he's like, yeah, okay, it's time to give up our, well, his hunger for power, and it's time to back who we should back. You know, it's time to back the person who's been cool, calm, and collected, and the only person in the room that's thinking straight. It's time to back Rhaenyra. So I will give that to him.
Yeah.
Matt, who's your favorite character?
So that I feel like that's a hard question with this show because I feel like we went through so many characters so quick, and so many of the characters went back and forth and like heel turns left and right that I was like, oh, as soon as I like this character, no, I don't. So I feel like the answer either has to be, to me at least, Rhaenyra, Daemon, Corlys, or Rhaenys. I know that's 4 characters,
Yeah,
but like
that's fine.
I like all of them in different ways. Rhaenyra is clearly like the protagonist. I had problems with her and her kind of act first, think second nature in the first few episodes. But I feel like she really came into her own towards the end, for sure. Daemon, yeah, I'm just interested in him. Matt Smith is just an excellent actor, so I mean, I can't dislike him. And then everything you guys said about Corlys and Rhaenys. Now, I do want to call out. Is it Aemond who has the eye patch?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So he's not my favorite character by any stretch of the imagination. He's
Coolest
not because
looking
I don't.
character.
But yes, he is a proper villain. Like the eye patch
absolutely
and then
love
the
his
eye
design.
reveal. I was like, okay, like I don't like him, but I'm sold on him. I was mad at the very end when he looked surprised at the death that just happened, and I was like, I don't know what else you were expecting there, buddy. You're on the biggest dragon in the world.
Yeah.
And you're chasing this kid down. You have to have some kind of idea that maybe this will lead to this other kid's death. But
he thought he'd burn him. He would light him up. I didn't think he would watch him get eviscerated instantly, popped out of existence kind of deal.
Yeah, that was just
because that's
yeah.
what I think shocked him was the pure raw power that he possesses. Because I don't think he ever realized it.
When I think also the thing that shocked him a little bit too, and this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of over my complaint of the last episode, is that he lost control, right? Mm-hmm. He lost control of, is it Vhagar?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the part where he's like, oh shit, like I need to not lose control or else that can happen to anyone if something goes wrong.
Right.
So yeah. I think he is a proper villain, and I'm excited to see his story unfold a little bit. Hopefully, he's not like a Bolton or a Joffrey. Hopefully, he's like I don't know, insert proper villain name here. But, yeah.
He was also one of the characters I kind of had a problem with, in the sense of not him, but the actor. Like, he's supposed to be the younger brother, and he looks much older than the...
I don't know if you noticed, but an eye patch ages you by at least 5 years.
Not even that, but it's more of, like, the prominent chin that he's got. Like, oh my god, that shit sticks out.
He's got a bit of a crimson chin, yeah.
Yeah, it's... If you told me, like, he's the stand-in for the crimson chin, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Just because, like, that shit sticks out.
Actually, the first thing I thought of when I first saw him was the uncle with the eye patch in the Nutcracker. I think it's specifically like the PBS one where they're all on stage and everything, and he's just kind of like tall, white long hair, and he has that eye patch, and that sort of like pirate coat or whatever. I was like, oh my
That may be
god.
one of the deepest cuts I've ever seen on this.
Honestly, that is incredible. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
But as far as Eamon goes, I don't know. It's really funny because in that last scene, I have so many issues with that. With like, for one, you're sending your kids alone, to do these things, which is just dumb. Like, even if you don't send them on dragons, send them with like a detachment of knights or something like that, Kingsguard, whatever, gold cloaks. I don't know, but when it came to him meeting Aemon, or them meeting Aemon, and then of course Vagar essentially like treating the other dragon like it was like a slushy or something like that, just like went straight through it. Um, the look on his face, I don't know why I laughed so hard, but it was one of those, like the very last scene was like the most comical thing ever.
Yeah.
Downright dastardly.
Like
Yeah.
it was messed up, but like the messed up part of it was immediately replaced by me laughing at it because like this kid just messed up his chance at being king.
Yep.
He just started a civil war. Like it's not like he can hide it and be
No.
like, oh, this kind of happened because
There's a
then
dragon. I don't know anything about any of this. Robert Baratheon is a fucking liar.
yeah, exactly. He's like, Vagar and I, we just went out for a picnic, roast
Yeah.
some sheep, hang out with the town girls, whatever. Like, I don't know what happened to that kid.
Now, what was I about to say? I had a point to make. In the next time skip we get, give him a mustache he can twirl.
Oh, please.
I don't
That
want
would be
any more time skips.
Perfect.
I don't want
Yes,
any more
please.
time
I
skips.
think there's 2 more in this show.
Oh God, I really hope not.
I hope so.
My last nitpick here is we have one episode where they're all children. We have Jace, Luke, Aemon, and Aegon. They're all kids, but somehow the new versions of Aegon and Aemon are like 25 years old, and then these two are still like 13 and 15.
And like 9. Like the younger kid is so young.
Yeah,
I feel
super
like.
young.
I took it
Yeah.
that Aegon and Aemon were like 14 and like 12 when we first met them.
No, because they
And
looked
now they're,
exactly the same. Not
No,
exactly the
you're
same.
you're right because when we first meet them, they're in the whatever that dragon septum.
Cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all like hanging out, you know? I don't know. That just pissed me off that, like,
They did feel a lot older than the youngest of Rhaenyra's children.
right, but at the same time,
The one
like,
who took the eye.
the one who took the eye, I don't know. I just feel like you wouldn't make fun of your older cousin that doesn't have a dragon by giving him a pig with wings. You know, like I don't know how I feel about that. But that's neither here nor there. Trivia, I'm sorry, I forget if you had given your favorite character.
No. So I think it's still Rhaenyra even after everything. I feel like her arc, seeing as the show was mostly about her,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the most satisfying to watch through even the time jumps and everything. And both actors just killed it, just knocked it out of the park. And yes, it did take some getting used to older Rhaenyra for a little bit because by that time Rhaenyra's kind of calmed down a little bit more, and she's like she's a daddy's girl. She's always been a daddy's girl, but like you can tell that like she realizes, for lack of a better term, like her place in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to get married to all these other people and all this other stuff and do the normal princess stuff. But at the same time, it felt like she was starting to like etch out her own niche inside the court. Young Rhaenyra was just I really enjoyed that actor. Like she was great. And she's brought so much fire to a character that was very like paralleled very much sort of I want to say like teen to older Daenerys,
Yeah.
because Danny was very much like, no, like this is the world order. I don't care about the world order. Like, I will literally burn it if I have to.
Mhm.
And it was just great to see those kind of character parallels to where it's going to be. And I know like the Song of Ice and Fire being mentioned is kind of like people calling you about your car's warranty and everything. Like it just kept coming up
Yeah.
like once an episode you hear about the Song of Ice and Fire. But like it was great to have that connection to Game of Thrones that made me want to watch Game of Thrones over again. Like I've already watched it 2 or 3 times
I'm so
through,
sorry.
but it
Yeah.
was just another one of those things where it's just like, yeah, what, I actually would like to watch this again once the season's all over, or before the next House of Dragon season comes up. Just do another watch through or something like that. But yeah, like Rhaenyra, I feel like her she was very much a relational character, meaning she just valued her friendships and the people that held her heart, um, namely Allison and Damon. Because like if you were to take away the incest stuff, like Damon's like her favorite human in the entire world outside of her dad. Allison would have probably been that like top three at a certain point in time.
I feel like it's the reason why he's her favorite is just because like he can help her get the throne. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it was that. The first 3 to 4
Originally,
episodes.
yeah, originally it was like he was her favorite human just because like she brought joy to him. But now as we're like further into their storyline, I think it was more of a necessity to, you know, someone she didn't have to take out. Instead of taking him
Yeah,
out, let's
I think it's to do with they are the most core Targaryen you could get. Like they are fire to the core, both of them, and pretty much the rest of them. Like if you look at her father and all that, have kind of given up fire as like what they are. He understands he's a king. They have dragons. They're not willing to use them that often, though, even in war and everything. Just like down in the steppe holes, he didn't just go burn into the ground.
Yeah.
They held a navy battle for years. All that they didn't have that fire in them to deal with these things. Even to her, the Valerians, where they wouldn't really the queen and all that. They were all playing these back burner games where Damon and Rhaena were willing to play these games right in front of everyone. They weren't here to be talking in the betrayal gardens and whatnot. No, they'll cut off your head in the middle of High Court.
yep.
That's the kind of people they were, and I think that's why they worked together.
Yeah, I was just about to say that is like they just had that sort of I mean it sounds messed up to say this, but that soulmate connection, kind of like they saw that in each other, um, and played off of that and played off that really well, even though at times that was very cringeworthy. But that I think that was possibly one of the strongest parts of this entire series.
Yeah.
I agree.
I have to fully agree with that.
Now, I will say one thing I hope they do in the season 2 and 3 and however many they do. I hope they introduce more likable aspects to a lot of the characters, because I feel like in Game of Thrones, I didn't just have like 2 or 3 characters I liked. I had a cast of characters that, and like, yes, it took 7 seasons to get there for some of them. Oops, sorry. But I feel like there was the Hound, and there was Jaime eventually, and there was Brienne, and there was Arya, and there was Daenerys, and there was Jon Snow, and there was like all of these characters were at least mostly likable. Maybe not completely likable, but mostly likable. And I feel like House of the Dragon just hasn't gotten that for me yet. I feel like there are more characters where I'm just like, I like them the most, but they're not necessarily likable characters
Right.
in that way.
Right.
If that makes sense.
To kind of analog it to like Game of Thrones, how you talked about the characters there, it felt like we started off watching only the Lannister family instead of starting with a
Yeah.
family like the Starks of likable characters. To parallel to like if we started off with just Jaime, Cersei, the dad, and Tyrion, this is how that show would have felt.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I think it's kind of like that.
Hey, but we're getting Starks next season, and that's all I need.
That's all.
That's all I
Is that
need.
your house?
Honestly, yeah, I was always a Stark guy. I just felt like every single one, well, most of them were likable for most of the time.
Yeah.
Sansa had a couple rough times for me,
Arya
but
was just a really bad character. Yeah.
and then Rickon, you know, come on,
Stop! Come on.
you gotta zigzag. You gotta zig. What you doing?
That poor kid never stood a chance.
No kidding.
For me personally, I can't believe nobody has said this yet, but like my favorite character was Jason Lannister. You guys, are you kidding me?
Well, yeah,
I'm kidding,
yeah.
bro. Completely kidding. Completely kidding. Honestly, I thought
Roy Lannister.
it was just funny that his name was Jason after everybody else's name is just like some random
Whimsical.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is Jason.
Yeah. There were a couple of characters where I thought like, oh shit, okay, I don't like you, but I still like I respect what you're doing.
Respect you.
Otto Hightower was definitely the number one person where I was like, I don't like you. I can't stand anything you're doing, but I fucking respect the shit out of it, bro. Like you're doing
I agree.
You're doing whatever you can to make sure that the Hightower name is going to be the next line as king, you know?
And well, he seemed to be like the character who understood the game the most.
Yes.
Like he's the one that actually references it, and like he's
He's-
like, "Hey, I didn't think you were ready to play the game,
Yeah.
but you are."
Yeah.
And here we go.
He
And I was like,
reminded me
"Oh,
of-
okay, that's a hype scene." Like I don't like him.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting for him, but I was like, "That's a dope line. I like that."
Absolutely. Ryan, what were you saying?
I was saying he reminded me of Littlefinger.
Yes, but
yeah.
like a better Littlefinger, if that makes sense.
Of
That's
where
that's
these
not
are
a high
guys
bar.
these are guys who have not that high of a family name, not coming from these major houses. They come from a small house, all that, and he's willing to give up everything, cross anyone, all this to get the gold. And I do think for that he's one of the most interesting characters to watch. Whenever he's on screen, he stole the scene he's in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he had this like dark, God, almost like the devil
Ominous.
whispering in your ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you know when you see him, something is about to happen.
Right.
Like whether
Yeah.
it's big or small, I don't know, but something interesting.
So,
everything is playing out to the roadmap he laid out.
yes.
He's like,
yes.
it's all going to plan.
So the part
He's even called out for it, and he's still brought back.
I
like-
was just gonna reference that. The part that got me the most was when Viserys was like, "You set this whole thing up. You knew I was gonna choose Alicent. You were the one that sent her to my side. And for that, it's time for you to fucking go." Like, it was
And then
it was great, and he played it well, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll be back." He didn't say it, but
Yeah.
like he knew. He fucking knew.
Yeah,
So
he's like, my daughter's the queen. Like, what? Like, come on.
we just have to wait for you to die, man. We just have to wait for you to die. That's it.
and we can make it go faster if you want.
Yeah.
We'll drug you.
I will also say Lionel Strong gave me very Ned Stark vibes. That was the guy that took over his hand when Otto left.
I did like him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he,
Okay.
The guy who looked like an old Sam Tully.
yes, that's exactly what it was. Yes. He it's like Viserys said. I'm gonna keep referencing characters quotes. Viserys was like, "Listen, man, you have always given me the cold hard truth, even if it's like against your personal wishes." Like, he, I, I just appreciated the nobleness of it, you know, and it's a real shame that he died so fucking early.
Yeah.
Real shame.
I feel like those are two very Ruben picks. Uh,
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that like these are. I guess no. My favorite character is definitely Rhaenyra, but like I was just giving these guys, flowers.
yeah, that's what I mean. You're always looking in the periphery of everything
Yeah.
that's going on. Like Strong, I totally forgot he was in the show. I'm not gonna lie. Until you mentioned it, and then I was like, you know what? He did have like 2 or 3 key moments there.
Yeah,
He had
man.
he felt like a
He got burned
Davos to
alive with
me.
his family.
Yeah, I could see that. Davros. Yeah. I
Now
see
I
it.
have a question, and I don't know if any of you know the answer to this. By the timeline, like where this show is Harrenhal already considered cursed? Has it already been isn't that like the cursed one in Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
where it's like destroyed and like that's where Arya works for Tywin for a while or
Yeah.
something like that? Is it already like considered cursed? I don't know if it actually is cursed. Maybe it is, but
I think so. That sounds right. Because I think it was like cursed like 200 plus years, and more like 110 years before Game of Thrones.
is it okay? Cool. I just wasn't clear because I was like, maybe that's why like them dying is what starts the curse legend. I wasn't sure, or I wasn't sure if it was already considered cursed when they died.
One last person I want to give flowers to, the captain of the Kingsguard. Fucking
Yeah, the
Oh,
bald guy.
Yeah, the bald guy.
Yeah,
This man fucking said, I'm done. I'm not doing this. If you're gonna kill the person who's supposed to take over, I'm out. Come and
Yeah.
figure your shit out."
he's a good parallel to from Game of Thrones. He was also the captain of the Kingsguard in the first season, and I lost his name. He like leaves, goes across the Narrow Sea, finds Daenerys, and is like, "I
Oh.
swear my."
The one that
Um,
has that dies of
Is Sir Barristan? Is that a real thing? Did I make that up?
That
Barrister?
sounds about right.
the one
whoever
that
the-
dies of
Not the one who
grayscale.
dies of.
Not Jorah. No, wait.
Jorah was
No,
with
I
her to the
think
from the beginning.
the guy I'm thinking of, I think, was killed by the Sons of the Harpy.
Oh, listen, man, that's too far away from what I don't even.
Yeah, we'll just
You
move on.
could
We'll just
say
move
the
on.
Sons of the Harpy. I couldn't even fucking tell you where the fuck they came in, what season.
That's what people are
Four or
wondering.
five. 4 or 5. Either way, yeah. He reminded me of the original Kingsguard captain in Game of Thrones as well.
Okay.
But yeah, the great character. He was also shout out. He played a priest in Lucifer, and he also did very well in that show.
He did. Oh fuck, I forgot about that. I guess the last thing I have to ask you guys is, are we excited for season 2? Or
Absolutely.
yeah, are we gonna watch?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
If anything, I want
A1
to
viewing.
see. I just want to see Aemon like literally shit himself trying to explain
What the
like
fuck happened?
what happened.
Oh, I
'Cause
can
I
have
have-
Otto Hightower pulls him aside and is like, "You
Denied.
done fucked up, boy. It's
Denied.
over now."
Yeah. I could see.
I feel
him
like
say those
Hightower would
words.
be like, "Oh yeah, wait, right.
He's
How are we
like,
gonna
they
spin
were
this? How are
supposed
we
to
gonna
be
spin
the
this?"
ones to pull the first shot.
Yeah. I do have one last thing I forgot to mention. It's, I hope that they get back to this, but fucking Aegon just having kids left and right out in these streets of King's Landing.
Oh, I feel like
Yeah.
just like Game of Thrones, these bastard kids will come back out.
Yeah, but they got sharp teeth. It's kind of like an anime.
Now, I actually have one more question before we leave.
Yes, go for it.
Game of Thrones is known for these clutch your pearls, oh my god, what the fuck is happening events in their show. The Red Wedding, the Purple Wedding, the fall of the wall, those kind of moments. What was your moment of that for this season? Because I think there's a few really big moments. Do you want me to kick this one off? Give an example.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
All
yeah, you
right.
go ahead.
For me, it was the non-assassination of Rhaenyra's first husband. Because I was full on believing they killed that
Oh
boy.
no way.
I was just like,
Valor.
yeah. I was like,
Lenore.
they have it
Yeah,
in them.
Laenor.
Well,
When
when Damon when Damon and Rhaenyra are making a plan, I was like, oh, that guy's dead and he's been lit on fire.
See,
That all check.
for me, I thought it was more going to be like she had said it herself. She's like, I don't want to kill him because he hasn't done anything wrong. So I thought she was going to like, they were going to do the swap and then we were going to see him off to sea. And then we see some sharpshooter just pull the arrow and then just drop. And just have him like, have her think like, yeah, he's living his life the way he wants it, but he's dead. And he
Okay. Anyone
That-
else have any scenes that really stick out to them?
Man.
So I do want to shout out just the dragon chase scene at the end. Like
Yeah.
that was a cool scene.
Yes.
Like whether or
nice.
not I liked the reaction at the end, neither here nor there. Like, but that was a cool scene. That being said, I think the non-assassination did surprise me.
Yeah, kind of like, oh, he's dead. He's dead. There's no Valerians left on the planet.
And I will say this is going to be a hot take to finish or be one of my last thoughts on this, but I feel like this season didn't really have a lot of surprising moments to me. I feel like they telegraphed where it was going a lot, and it went almost exactly where I thought it was going to go, almost at every turn. Was I surprised when the Crab Man didn't come back after episode 3? A little bit. I expected a little bit more out of
I
him.
was kind of glad he should have died in episode 1.
Yeah, like I don't care about that. I understand the time jumps, but
He was a fun
yeah,
villain.
I think the best surprise for me was the non-death of
I'm not
Laenor.
gonna I'm talking about like the grand scale moment because I also think there's a
Oh,
lesser
shit
one that's
moments.
also as equally,
Hmm.
which is Viserys in his dying not dying, but not doing great, coming out there to be king one last
Mhm.
time and
Yeah.
put his families in check.
Only to
That
just fuck
moment
it
where
up.
he, with the fanfare and the horns and him slowly climbing up the stairs, so good.
Yes, first of all, he was incredible in that scene, but also Damon in that scene too, where we see like a
Yeah.
moment of real like
He's like,
Pity's not
"Fuck
the right
everything
word,
for
but
right now.
empathy."
He's my family.
Yeah,
We're brothers."
and that was the moment where I was like, okay, I officially like Damon. He's not all good, but there is good there. Yeah.
I think as far as I guess something that links into where Game of Thrones is going is when Rhaenys busts through the septum. That, like you were saying, they do a lot of like projecting, like this is leading to this and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And that was definitely one of those moments where you're just like, okay, she's gonna grab her dragon, but like it was also one of those moments where you're like, there's no way she's gone. Like people will look to the sky and they'll see a dragon flying off, and then all of a sudden, just like in the middle of like thousands of people,
Yes.
just boom. And then there was that disappointment of her like if they would have cut to that and then her just heading for the door, I think that would have been great. As opposed to like, will she, won't she? Like, is she
Yeah.
gonna burn him alive? Or is she just gonna look? Oh, they're closing the doors. I guess I gotta go. That was kind of annoying. But the
I agree.
moment of her just like busting through the floor of that place was pretty dope.
Now, hear me out on this. I would have loved, since nobody was in there, if she just torched the castle. because everyone's at the sanctum. So
Just
they go
as a
out
big middle
to-
finger.
Yeah.
Because
This
doesn't
should have been my castle. So I'll
doesn't
burn
the
it to
Red Keep get destroyed once or twice in
Yeah, it gets
Game of Thrones
destroyed a few
history?
times.
Gotcha. So,
Like the
I imagine,
expansion.
yeah, because I imagine that's not part of like the history. Just like I mean, like they kept Laenor alive, which from what I hear is not part of the books, but
No, they straight
you know,
broke him.
yeah. And so, and yeah, and to piggyback on the Laner part, like that was one of those things where I don't know, I felt like it played out so kind of uh, corny in a way, that like having him get on that boat was actually kind of a nice payoff,
Yeah.
because then he got to like he now gets to lead a quiet life with his dude,
I think we will see him one more
Yes.
time.
Also, question. The body that was found, was that just some random dude, or was that like an actual character we knew about beforehand?
No, that was just a random guard.
That was a
So they
random
just
guard
they
that
just
lit on
killed
fire.
him because I mean I guess
the
I
guard that-
respect the loyalty, but
That's the guard that Damon killed.
okay, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I thought. But I
Yeah.
was just like, was he a character before, or did they just murk some dude
No,
because
no,
they
yeah,
wanted to make this work? Yeah, okay,
just
cool.
a random guy. For me, there was a couple moments that were like, oh shit, that kind of felt like they were bigger than they were supposed to be. Number one was her, Allison walking into the room in the middle of his speech, of Viserys' speech, where Larys is like, oh shit, she's wearing
Oh, when
green.
he came out in High Tower
Mm.
Green.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh shit, she's wearing green." You know what that means? Like, I thought it was gonna be like more of a, she's standing up to Viserys now. Like she's figured out like, oh, she does have a say. She is queen, but like, she can, voice her own opinions. And it kind of didn't lead up into anything up until maybe the last 3 episodes. I will say the fight scene in that same episode was fucking crazy. Just like Kristen Cole beating up on Leonor's lover. I don't even remember. his
Yeah.
name.
I will
When
say
he
that
breaks
moment
his
did shock me too.
Jason,
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
With
I
no weapon, just
beating
full
the
fist,
shit out
yeah.
of him. Yeah. I feel like they set it up so like they could use it as a secret or like as leverage later on, and then this fucking guy just goes up to him and tells him like, yeah, I know that you're her lover, don't worry, I'm his lover too, it's not a problem. But like it felt like almost a waste.
Yeah, I
Well, I
agree.
think it was to show that Sir Christian Cole is like, I don't want to be no side piece. This ain't for me. You may be okay with this situation. This is pissing me off. Kinda
Right.
deal.
I get that, but also it just felt like, because if I remember correctly, didn't he also say like, didn't she also tell him like, yeah, we can leave this place, like just you and me, let's just go, be free, and get away from the crown and everything.
Oh, that was him. That was him
Yeah.
wanting that.
That was him.
He-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Alright.
he's like, what if we just abandon everything? And she's like, I can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
alright.
he was like, I'm gonna turn into a psycho bitch.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was the other way around for some
I
reason.
thought so too, which is why I was a little confused, but that's fine. And
I think that whole sequence was just confusing, really. But
yeah, like just his whole character arc just very upsetting. Very upsetting. The only person that's seen war turns into a whiny little crybaby.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like
I
it's
forgot
fine.
they made the point that he was like the only one that had.
Well,
yeah,
he's the
I
only
forgot about
person
that.
like out of the King's Guard. Damon
Right.
has seen war, obviously, and then we have the Valerians that have seen war. And you guys are making fun of the final scene that we see, the two dragons fighting each other. I was more of along the lines of not making fun of it, but like you guys thought it was stupid. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't expect it to happen where the dragon just fucking tears him up and just eats the
No,
shit.
I think there were some kudos given to like the coolness, like when he's riding
Yeah,
and
but
he's
you
like
just
looking
said
around, and all of a sudden
had
you see
said you
like,
laughed.
okay, so I laughed at the
Only
part
at
where
the
he's
end.
like,
At the very
oh,
end, it just kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. At the
I-
very end, that was silly as hell.
Okay. I
But
still
like the
thought
rest
like
of it was pretty cool.
I thought it was more of like, oh shit, I really fucked up this time. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like
well, but like that makes
my
sense. But
anxiety
also,
fucking
like
through the roof, man.
my next thought was also like, what did you expect to happen there? Like you're
Right.
He wasn't thinking that he thought that he had Vagar under control, and clearly they both did not have any dragon under control because
Yeah.
it's a dragon. You can't tame a dragon. They're fucking gonna do whatever the fuck they want, and whether you think that's gonna happen or not. But like he was just in it for revenge. He wanted to get his revenge, and he wanted his eye, and then he lost count of the fact of what
oh
they,
shit, dragons.
yeah. Like it's not just a means of transportation.
He
These
got an eye.
he got more than an eye.
Well, but also, like I will say, like 3 episodes before that, he's like, no, it's fine. It's a good. Like I'm okay with losing my eye because I got the dragon.
He's like,
And then now
I
that's
won
not okay.
The war.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like that's
and I know
also
he's
been
being
like
petty.
10 years, you know? Like 10
Yeah,
years.
that's fair.
So like
Yeah, but he's
He's had to
that
live with
eye.
that depth perception problem for so long. It's just built up.
And I have to say, like, I guess one last thing is that as much as we kind of like jump on some of the weird plot holes and moments and stuff like that, I would have to say like casting was great. Especially it especially stood out in those moments, tense moments like that last bit where like he's the kid's walking up to the castle. Is it Jace? I think
Yes.
he's the youngest. He's walking up to the front steps of the castle,
No, I'm
and
sorry.
then literally you see who was it?
I think it was Luke. Yeah, Luke is the younger one.
Yeah, and like literally you see lightning, and then Vagar is just kind of like, oh, I just woke up from a nap. Like, oh hey, you're here.
Yeah.
And then like as he comes in, like that whole tension between Eamon and Luke was just like, bro, like I'm literally like tensing up in my chair because I'm like, get that little boy out of here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
He's going to
love
die.
How the Baratheons were like, you ain't fucking doing this in all halls. Y'all
But they
can go
immediately
balance
let
it.
him walk out.
Yeah,
you
both
go
of
out
them.
there and
The
do it.
both of them. Just
Yeah,
let
no,
him
he's
walk
like-
out.
You
Like,
guys
all
can
right,
kill
he's
each
not in
other
my house,
outside.
So I guess that's
You
fine.
are not.
Okay,
Cannot
I'll have to say, they didn't let Aemon walk out because where Vagar was, Aemon would have had to be sprinting. He'd have been like, "That kid's going, I'm out," and just running and like booking it down the hall, and all the guards are just like, "Well, this is about to start a civil war."
Yeah, but
Like-
at the same time, like the size of Rhaegar and the size of what Luke's dragon, I don't even remember the name of the dragon. Like
Yeah.
Bite size. We'll
he
call him
could have
bite-sized.
been, he could have. That's fucked up. He could have been out for like 3 hours, and Vagar would have caught up to him in like 45 minutes.
True.
So like I feel like the Baratheons should have like held him for at least a day, you know? At least a day.
Like, hey, have some
Aemon-
dinner. Have some
Aemon-
dinner. Come on.
Put him in the ice box for a little bit. He's like, "All right, you stay here in this
Not
room."
even that.
Go
Aemon,
take a cold shower.
go talk to one of your betrothed. You know, like go
Right,
figure
right.
out which one you want to marry. You know.
But I think my point with the tension stuff is like with
Play
the
the
like the
date.
green dress, the Aemon part. Literally, anytime Daemon was on screen, in the first 4 or 5 episodes, where he was like a mini Darth Vader just walking around like threatening people with his very presence.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff, like the meetings in the chamber, Rhaenyra, stuff like that. Like there are just so many like well scripted tense moments in this season that had nothing to do with. They didn't have a whole lot to do with people dying. Essentially, like
I
there
think
wasn't always a sword in hand in each one of those tense moments.
I think a moment where no weapons in hand till the very end is when the parents are arguing about the kids taking an eye. Where
Yeah.
you can see the full breakdown of every single house in that one.
Yes.
Where you're like, oh, they are airing their problems. Oh, someone's got a knife.
That was the one time where I was like, all right, me sitting through this poorly lit episode was completely worth it
Yes.
for like that last like 5 minutes.
This is some of the best 5 minutes I've had in television in a long time.
But
Yeah,
also,
that scene was just incredible.
also, I would have liked to have seen more. I guess more payoff of them saying like of Rhaenyra specifically saying they finally see you for what you are. So we didn't really get much of a payoff yet, I guess. So we'll wait.
Because
till
after
season-
that is another time jump, right?
It's another time.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So like it kind of like takes away from it, but again, we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. I think that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you for joining me. We have any final things that we want to say before we close out the show?
Despite all my nitpicking, I think this is still top tier television. I think it's incredible. Like, it's me nitpicking exactly, but
Just wait till Last of Us comes out. Last of Us will blow this out of the water.
100%.
Oh, Last of Us for you to be really, really good or really, really bad. There's no in between for that show.
I don't think I can handle if it's not good. I think I'm just gonna have a
I was
mental
like, you were
breakdown.
given the perfect story on a platter.
Yeah,
Listen, if Pedro Pascal can save, what was the Star Wars show that was?
Mando?
No, the other one, Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
I feel like he could handle.
But that wasn't Pedro saving it. That was literally the mantle of Mando.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Like they should have like
This
made
is
that a
2.5,
web series or something
2.5.
like that,
2.5.
or like a series that was on Disney Plus that they didn't announce. They're just like, all right, here's a book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Don't think too much about
Here's
it.
a page
Just
of
watch
Boba
it.
Fett. Here's a page of Boba
Here's
Fett.
a page of Boba Fett.
Is a little bit of boba.
Yeah.
A little bit of Boba.
Travail, any last words?
Any last words? No. I quite enjoyed my time talking to you guys about House of Dragons. I can't wait to or Dragon. Sorry. Is it House of Dragons?
It's
or
House of
Dragon?
Dragon.
House of the
Dra-
Dragon.
House
Yes.
of the Dragon.
There you go.
My
Hot
bad.
D.
My bad. Enter the House of the Dragons. Yeah. I can't wait to talk more about season 2 when it comes around and the details surrounding all of that, and maybe even whatever other spin-off they have waiting in the wings
We
for
got Jon
Game of
Snow.
Thrones.
We got Jon Snow as of right now.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not super interested in that, but
Nobody
I-
is.
but then again,
wants to
I
watch
wasn't-
that.
I don't know. Then
Not
again,
that.
I wasn't interested in House of Dragon, so like, House of the Dragon. Yeah, I wasn't interested in the show either, but it totally sucked me in again.
I wasn't super satisfied with Jon Snow's end in Game of Thrones, so I'm just hoping he gets more satisfying conclusion in whatever
They should
happens.
just show me him being feral in the woods. That's
All
all
I
I
want.
want.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
No dialogue, just him.
Just
Just
him and
being.
Foreman howling at each other.
Yeah.
I like that.
Ryan, any last words? Final thoughts. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
No. This was just glad to be excited about Game of Thrones television again. So that's really all I gotta say. Now, should we jump into plugs, Ruben?
Yes, please.
All right. I guess I'll kick us off.
Yes, please.
You can find me at RyanTheLion3055 on Twitter for wherever and whatever I'm doing on this wild world of the internet.
All right. Travail, where can people find you?
Not special at all. I'm just at Trevelyan, Trevailian.
It's on the screen.
It is
for
not-
people.
Alien, just Alien, because I don't know why I took that. I think it was 007 initially, because my name is Travell. And then I just, rolled that in. I do have Trevelyan Industries, which I'm starting to do some Gunpla stuff. I've been filming a lot of my builds for the past
Oh,
year.
hell yeah.
I just haven't really put anything on YouTube yet. So I'll be doing that over the next couple months.
Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome.
And what about that podcast that you were talking about for Gundam?
It has no official name yet.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Hopefully,
Stay
hopefully
tuned.
it'll be coming out pretty soon. Because Witch of Mercury it's such a great show. But
It's
anyway,
not.
I could go on for that for days. I'll stop now.
Okay. Matt, where can people find you?
You can just find me on Twitter at Matt Grover EN for expert nerd. But yeah, I'm just on there way more than I should be.
Okay. All right. Anything else you got to plug, Matt? Is that it?
Not right now. Not right now. I'm
All right.
still waiting on stuff.
Okay. And of course, you can find me here for the rest of the week playing Modern Warfare and shitting on Christian's hot take of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 not being good, you know? Yeah,
We're talking about the movie or the?
the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
The movie.
Oh, I really like.
I mean, he's just wrong. Like he's
Thank
objectively
you.
wrong.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
finally on. He's no longer the master of cinema. We stripped him away from his title. He's now the plebe. That's it.
Are we giving that title to Hugo?
No, Hugo's also wrong in so many levels. It's not even funny. Hugo doesn't want a TikTok Hercules, guys. Wouldn't you want?
No
a TikTok
one wants a TikTok.
Nobody
Hercules.
wants that, but like,
So I don't want it, but I'm fascinated by what that means. Like I have to know. I
It's-
have to
I
know.
don't
I'm
like
gonna
to believe
give
the
you-
Russos know what TikTok is.
I'm gonna give you a line that will go down one of the famous lines of Will Ferrell. Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. With that being said, until the next conquest, thank you guys once again for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry we took an hour and a half of your time, but it was a great discussion. We really had a good time, I hope. With that being said, have